All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to tackle a massive, fundamental question about what it means to be human and to be brilliant. So, which is it? Are you born with it or do you build it? For the longest time, science was pretty convinced you were just born with it. The brain was seen as this fixed machine you got at birth. But wow, in the last few decades, neuroscience has just completely flipped that script. It turns out our brains are way more dynamic, way more changeable than we ever imagined. So, for centuries, this was the story we told ourselves. Your intelligence, your talents, they're all locked in by your genes. You got the brain you got, and that was pretty much the end of the story. Kind of like a computer that came with hardware you could never upgrade. And then everything changed. This idea of neuroplasticity came along, and it was a total game changer. This is the hardware update we were told was impossible. It's this incredible, fundamental property of the brain to physically change its own wiring in response to what you think, what you do, and what you experience. So how does this rewiring actually work? Well, it boils down to this really beautiful, simple idea. Neurons that fire together wire together. I want you to think about it like making a path through a field of tall grass. The first time you walk it, it's tough, right? But you keep walking that same path over and over, and what happens? The path gets clearer, wider, and way easier to travel. Your brain builds its connections in the exact same way. And here's the absolute best part of this whole story. This isn't some special feature that only works when you're a kid. Nope. Your brain's ability to change, to learn, and to adapt, that's something you carry with you for your entire life. The potential to forge new paths is always there. Okay, but here's the catch, and it's a big one. Your brain doesn't really have an opinion on what you're learning. It's just a super efficient machine that reinforces whatever you repeat. So whether you're practicing the guitar for an hour or you're practicing worrying for an hour, the process is the same. Neuroplasticity will strengthen whatever path you choose to walk down. So, if our brain is this incredible hardware, constantly ready to be rewired, then what's the software? What's the operating system that's telling it what to change and why it should even bother? Well, that brings us to mindset. Think of it as the operating system for your brain. On one hand, you've got the fixed mindset. That's the belief that your talents are just fixed traits. If you believe that, why bother with effort? Challenges seem threatening, and failure feels like a final verdict on who you are. But on the other hand, you've got the growth mindset. This is the belief that your abilities can be developed through hard work. Suddenly, challenges are exciting opportunities to grow, effort is the way you get better, and failure? It's not a verdict, it's just feedback. It's valuable data. So here's where it gets really cool. Neuroplasticity, the hardware, and mindset, the software, they aren't two separate things. They're locked in this powerful, self-reinforcing cycle. Let's call it the genius loop. It all kicks off with belief. A growth mindset basically gives you the psychological green light to try hard things, to struggle, and to keep going when it gets tough. It's that core belief that your effort actually matters, and that's the fuel you need to put in the work. And that belief, it pushes you to take action. The practice, the focus, the studying, that action is precisely what triggers neuroplasticity. You are literally causing specific neurons to fire together, again and again, forging stronger connections. Your effort is physically becoming part of your brain's structure. And here is the magic part, where the loop closes and feeds back on itself. As those new pathways get stronger, you actually get better at whatever you're doing. You see real, tangible improvement. And that progress is the ultimate proof. It reinforces your original belief that you can grow, which makes you even more likely to take on the next challenge. And the whole cycle starts again, but this time it's even stronger. You see, this loop completely turns our idea of genius on its head. When we look at people like Einstein, we see it wasn't just some random flash of brilliance. He spent years in deep focus, running his famous thought experiments. Newton himself said he discovered gravity by thinking on it continually. Their genius wasn't a thing they were, it was a process they did. It was a verb. It was forged. And believe it or not, this connection between what we do and who we become goes even deeper than our brain's wiring. There's this amazing field called epigenetics, which shows that our behaviors like learning or even how we handle stress can actually place chemical tags on our DNA that influence which genes get switched on or off. So your effort doesn't just change your mind, it can echo all the way down to your genetic expression. Okay, this is all incredibly powerful stuff, but the big question is, what does it mean for you? How do we actually put this into practice and start consciously forging our own potential? Let's get into the toolkit. So, what do you need? Well, first off, focused attention. It's absolutely critical. You have to cut out the distractions because focus is the signal that tells your brain, hey, pay attention, this is important, rewire for this. Next, you need progressive challenge. You always want to be operating in that sweet spot right at the edge of your abilities. Then, strategic rest. Seriously, sleep is not for the weak. It's when your brain does the hard work of consolidating all those changes. Also, embrace novelty and complexity. Learning a new language or an instrument, that's like a full-body workout for your brain. And finally, don't forget physical exercise. It's a huge catalyst, boosting blood flow and the very molecules that help new neurons grow. So if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. Your brain is not a static object you were handed. It is a living, breathing sculpture. And every single day, with every choice, every bit of effort, and every belief you hold, you are the one holding the chisel. You are the artist actively shaping what it becomes. Look, the potential for growth, for genius, it's not some secret prize you have to find or be given. It's already built into your biology. It's there, waiting. So the real question isn't if you have it. The question is, what will you do with it? What will you forge?